the connivers of the city of Pittsburgh, Lisa Miles is a good example, were in my face saying, nobody respects you, and you don't respect people, and so on. And I heard this a lot. And it's easy to disprove. It's a fool's assessment of me. We're deceivers. Proclamation about me. There was this man saying, what would you think of a scheme to transform the human race by injecting the blood before AIDS started? Who was in charge of this AIDS entrapment operation after it got started? And I could have said, that's happened. But out of respect for my audience, I realized that in newspapers there has to be some sort of corroboration. I mean, I took a stress evaluator, and the man said, you're obviously telling the truth. I went to the Maine State Polygraph Office and asked for a polygraph test, and I could have done that, of course. I did do that, but I could have done that without going deeper, trying to see I'm deaf, so people sometimes put things in writing to me. So I thought maybe I can trick or goad this guy into putting something in writing about it, and it took a lot of doing. I had to go to Maine, my tooth-hurt. I only had $6 in my pocket. I didn't know where I was going. It was a big risk. I ended up camping on somebody's farm for $50 a month. Matt Gerald was his name. But it worked. I went in deep and I got this man to spout, which you can see. It's in the Texas school book, We Bleed Calm site. It surrounds my name with positive and negative signs and discusses the Nazi paraphernalia he'd been sending to me, and makes mention of what he said about injecting people, transforming the human race by injecting the blood. There was a witness who was at a Poconos Cafe. Maybe the investigators could find him. He was still up. Maybe he frequented that cafe. I don't know. But this dude was selling gullible stuff, as cool. He really was. He was saying this guy is really groovy, But he was a partner of Penis Gabriel. And he was supposedly an honorary the black man because he was getting even with me about some woman from India who seduced me without telling me about what she said was an arranged marriage so she could study and teach in the United States. I mean, she had higher status than me at the university. But it created this grudge mentality. Let the NAACP come in, make pornographic movies of me under the auspices of surveillance as part of their contribution to the pornographic representation of AIDS as justified, which is the subtext of the whole thing. And Penis Gabriel couldn't stop lying to me. He was just obsessed with lying to me. He was the number one customer of John Schulman, who was arrested with his partner from Ellis, who's produced Leslie Katz, another partner of John Schulman, who was in really, really good with Robert Fripp. And Schulman was arrested for stealing $8 million from the museum. And Peter Gabriel was one of his best customers. Paul McCartney compared Liverpool to Pittsburgh, and he was discussing his friendship with Schulman when he did that, basically. And I got chased out of Pittsburgh to Seattle when Schulman's gang ran a reckless driving incident in a bus, school bus. And I was furious. I quit the job over the incident. And they claimed I was the driver. And this is the sort of thing that the psychopaths in Seattle really latched onto when they gave me a bad drug that all but chemically castrated me. And Penis Gabriel is really sick, and he's into, in The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, it's all about, castrating somebody. They were having these fantasies. They implanted something in me to service a fantasy that they were selling with this woman from Ellis, Leslie Katz, through Robert Fripp. It was fantasy implant and hegemony was their whole mindset. They were, and this bogus storyline that I didn't respect my peers in news media, for example, enough to try to get corroboration for what I was on to, was used to stall so they could pull COVID-19. I mean, they're threatening to do this stuff again. You know, what the liberals, so-called liberals in Congress, don't get through their heads is they have contributed to this sickness of mind by pandering to, really lecherous groups of people like Pink Floyd and John Lennon, and you're supposed to see him as an override switch. He endorsed this dude who was selling, injecting people, was the mindset of Warhol. Penis Gabriel wrote an alibi for him. He said, the Experience Park. I talked to artists and technologists with the Experience Park in mind. And they've been after me with saying that they like the film Audition, where a really sick person goes out to kill somebody. And they have been killing people. Amanda Harcourt, was mobilized to kill Cersei Kennedy. They are tactless, amoral people for whom, words are just an advertisement that they want people to be complicit with them. They want people to go on with them. They want people to collaborate with them. It's an appeal to the so-called silent majority to get on the bus with this people salad thing they did, which is get rid of these people, get rid of the weak, get rid of some of these people, get rid of the weak, and then we'll have a better planet to take care of for Greta Thunberg, who, don't get me wrong, I admire. She is where I was, being used. I hope and I pray that Greta has no rational commitment to assisting the people who were behind AIDS and COVID. I mean, she's been a poster girl for that terrible bore, Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know where I live, Arnold. I've told you this before. You know where I live. I'm not fooling around with you. Reagan was not a good person. He was in the planning division behind all of this Nazism that killed JFK and Robert Kennedy. I'm a Kennedy kid, okay? And my goal is to recruit Greta Thunberg to be a Kennedy kid too. She doesn't want to, that's fine. Hopefully you can keep her safer than you did Cersei.